Tiny homes, tiny sheds. A family of 6 moves into a tool shed to avoid the high cost of renting. Hey everybody, you're watching Bull Boom Bear Bust. Today we're going to update you on the ongoing housing crisis, the homeless situation. Homeless continues to increase, continues to get worse. The number of people falling behind on their rent continues to get worse. And in fact, we're at about 8.4 million people now miss their rent payment in the month of June. And we do know that most of the rental assistance programs have ended when it comes to the cancellation of rent. And we expect things to continue to worsen as we go further into the year of 2022 and beyond. Of course, we do expect some other rescue programs to come out later in the year. We'll have to see how it goes. We already have over 10 states implementing new stimulus checks being sent out to their citizens. All right, but let's get into this story here about the family of 6 moving into a tool shed. So maybe 15, 20 years ago, this would have been looked at as something that was just incomprehensible for the United States. Now we see families on the street literally living in tents on the sidewalks and the streets, and a tool shed to many now doesn't seem that bad. It doesn't seem that insane for even the United States. Now when you have 8.4 million people missing rent or having a late rent payment, that is the equivalent of about 15% of U.S. renters. So it's getting bad, and it's likely going to continue to get worse. There's not much help on the horizon, as just about everything that led up to this point, in this moment, this crisis, is still getting worse. Affordability is getting worse. Wages still not keeping up with inflation. Cost of living still not coming down in most areas. So we expect the trend of people moving into tiny homes and even renovating tool sheds to continue to expand as we progress into this inflationary, outrageous cost of living environment. And here's the picture of the family, and this is in Arkansas, and it looks like the man of the house may be away at the moment. Is he away at work? Is he out hunting? Is he out collecting firewood? Who knows? Well, one thing about Arkansas, in most places anyway, you don't have to worry about snow in the winter, so if you don't have heat, it may not be a death sentence. Now, the mother of these children says, quote, "One of the things people really find weird about us having to live in a shed is that we used a compromised bathroom rather than a traditional toilet. And the toilet is basically a bucket system," she says. "And then a few days later, we dump it into a composting bin in the woods. Then after a couple years, the waste turns into soil for ornamental plants." She continues, "More and more people are breaking free from the mindset that you have to have a big, expensive, fancy house to feel like you're making it." She continues, "There's value in living modestly. We can spend more time together gardening and enjoying nature rather than working to afford lavish accommodations." All right, let's just pause right there. Can we see her point just for a moment here? I know a lot of people that have nice, big houses, fancy houses, expensive houses, but also at the same time, a lot of them work so much, they spend more time away from their home than they spend at home. And if you subtract time that they're sleeping, that they're not actually enjoying their home, you could say sleeping is enjoying your home, but you know what I mean. A lot of people work more than they enjoy their home. They're at work more when it comes to a portion of the day than they are at home enjoying the fruits of their labor. Back to this lady here. She reports that her and her husband lost their jobs during the health crisis. And prior to moving into this shed here, they were renting an $1,100 single-family home, which became unaffordable. And now, since moving into this transformed shed, they've reduced their monthly expenses from $2,000 down to $400 total. She continues, quote, "Since we've moved into the shed, we've become really financially stable, and we're really close to becoming debt-free." The woman continues in describing her shed for her and her family. Quote, "The shed is 2 stories and has electricity, running water, and a heating cooling system, a 65-inch flat screen television, a stainless steel refrigerator, an electric stove, fold-out futons that we use as beds. After buying the wooden workshop for $6,000 at a roadside hardware stand, she and her husband invested another $7,000 into renovations, which included adding a staircase that leads to its lofted area, privacy walls, and an outdoor porch. The couple used money from their tax returns, stimulus checks, and unemployment to fund their housing project. They also invested $4,000 for a well which supplies them with water for drinking, cleaning, and showering. It's pretty interesting that they have a shower, but not a functioning toilet, but whatever. And it looks like people are going to have to be more and more creative. Here's another story about a family that moved into a Home Depot shed after taking on so much debt. They ended up making a profit selling it. So it looks like they might have moved on and did something else. But yeah, stories like this are going to become more and more common. And who knows, maybe one day I'll be broadcasting one of my reports to you from the front of a shed, maybe in the woods somewhere. We'll have to see how it goes. But anything you can do to keep yourself and your family out of the elements and keep them warm is something that we all have to think about. And instead of seeing a situation like this with a family literally on the street, isn't it better to be in a shed or even in a tool shed? But definitely stories like this are going to become more and more common. Please let me know what you think about this down in comments. And actually, a couple months ago, I did a report where I was walking through a Home Depot shed. Some of them are pretty large, so you could live in there. But more and more people are going to have to resort to this as things continue to worsen. And we'll see what happens when the July numbers come out. But June was pretty dark, with 15% of people missing their rent payment or not paying their rent on time. Will it get worse in the month of July? Please let me know down in the comments. Or are things getting better? Housing is going to become more affordable. Home prices and rents are going to crash. I don't think that's going to happen, but please let me know down in the comments if you think that's going to happen, and please give me the reasons why. Other than that, I see things getting worse, cost of living rising, and not much light at the end of the tunnel. Even though I do hope things get better, I'm just not seeing it, and I don't want to put any false hope out there. I want people to continue to prepare and to continue to brace for the worst as we head into this economic situation. Thanks everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like what we talk about, and come back for more updates. Big love to all of you. Peace. Bye now.